Good evening, everyone. Imagine living in a quiet, rural community in the early 1800s. Your days are filled with hard work, family, and faith. But then something inexplicable begins: strange noises, violent disturbances, and an unseen force that seems to know your deepest secrets. This is the story of the Bell Witch haunting, one of America's most enduring and chilling legends set in Adams, Tennessee. Between 1817 and 1821, let's step back in time and explore this mysterious tale. In the early 19th century, the Bell family, John Bell, his wife Lucy, and their 9 children lived on a prosperous farm in Robertson County, Tennessee. John was a respected farmer and church elder, and the family was well liked. Their life was typical of frontier America until 1817, when strange events began to unfold. It started subtly: odd noises, like scratching on the walls or the sound of chains dragging across the floor. The family dismissed these as animals or the creaks of their log home. But the disturbances grew louder and more unsettling. Soon, the noises turned physical. The Bell children, especially young Betsy, reported their bed covers being yanked off in the night. Invisible hands slapped their faces or pulled their hair. John and Lucy were baffled, but as devout Christians, they initially kept the matter private, fearing rumors of witchcraft or demonic influence. By 1818, the disturbances were impossible to ignore. Objects moved on their own, heavy furniture rattled. And then the entity began to speak. The voice identified itself as a spirit, though its origins varied depending on the telling. Sometimes it claimed to be the ghost of a disturbed Native American burial site. Other times it said it was Kate, a neighbor named Kate Batts, who allegedly had a grudge against John Bell over a land deal gone sour. Locals began calling the entity the Bell Witch, though no evidence confirms Kate Batts' involvement. What made this spirit unique was its intelligence and personality. It could hold conversations, recite Bible verses, and even predict future events. It sang hymns one moment and hurled insults the next. It seemed to delight in tormenting the family, especially John and Betsy. The Bell Witch's attacks grew violent. John Bell suffered the worst. He experienced seizures, his tongue swelling so he could barely speak. The spirit mocked his suffering, claiming it would kill him. Betsy, only a teenager, was slapped and pinched by the invisible force. Her engagement to a local man named Joshua Gardner strained by the entity's interference. The spirit reportedly disapproved of the match, tormenting Betsy until she eventually broke off the engagement. Word of the haunting spread, and the Bell farm became a spectacle. Neighbors, skeptics, and even preachers visited to witness the phenomenon. The spirit thrived on the attention, performing for guests. It answered questions, mimicked voices, and shared gossip about far-off places, which later proved accurate. One famous visitor was General Andrew Jackson, future President of the United States. Legend has it that Jackson, intrigued by the stories, traveled to the Bell farm with his men. As his wagon approached, the wheels mysteriously froze. The spirit's voice reportedly taunted Jackson, saying, "I'll see you tonight, General." Jackson's men were spooked, and though accounts differ, some say he left after a sleepless night of disturbances. Whether Jackson's visit happened is debated, but it shows how the legend captured the public's imagination. Shift tone to a more reflective one. By 1820, the Bell family was exhausted. John Bell's health deteriorated. On December 20th, 1820, he fell into a coma and died. Family members found a vial of strange liquid near his bed, which the spirit claimed it had used to poison him. When tested on a cat, the liquid reportedly killed the animal instantly. The spirit laughed and sang at John's funeral, cementing its reputation as malevolent. After John's death, the disturbances lessened, but they didn't stop entirely. In 1821, the spirit announced it would leave but return in 7 years. True to its word, it reportedly reappeared briefly in 1828, speaking to John Bell Jr. about future events, including the Civil War, before vanishing again. So, what was the Bell Witch? A ghost? A demon? A hoax? Historians and folklorists have debated this for centuries. Some believe the haunting was a case of poltergeist activity, possibly tied to Betsy Bell's stress as a young woman in a strict household. Poltergeists are often linked to adolescence, and Betsy was at the center of many disturbances. Others argue the family fabricated this story, perhaps to cover a scandal or gain attention, though the Bells' reputation and lack of profit undermine this theory. Skeptics point to the era's superstitions, where unexplained events were often attributed to spirits. Yet the sheer number of witnesses, neighbors, clergy, and community leaders makes a simple hoax unlikely. Another theory suggests a cultural explanation. The early 1800s was a time of religious fervor in America, with the Second Great Awakening sweeping the South. Tales of spirits and divine judgment resonated with people's beliefs. The Bell Witch story, with its mix of faith, fear, and mystery, became a cautionary tale about sin, community, and the unknown. It's worth noting that no definitive evidence, like court records or diaries, confirms the haunting's details. Much of what we know comes from M.D. Ingram's 1894 book, Authenticated History of the Bell Witch, written decades later based on oral accounts. Ingram's work blends fact and folklore, making it hard to separate truth from legend. The Bell Witch's legacy endures. Today, Adams, Tennessee, embraces its haunted history. The Bell Witch Cave, near the original farm, draws tourists, though its connection to the story is tenuous. The tale has inspired books, movies, and even a 1999 film, The Blair Witch Project, loosely based on the legend. Annual festivals and reenactments keep the story alive, a testament to its grip on American folklore. As we reflect on the Bell Witch, we're left with more questions than answers. Was it a supernatural force, a psychological phenomenon, or a product of its time? Perhaps the truth lies in the human need to make sense of the unexplained. The Bell family's ordeal reminds us how fear and mystery can shape a community and a nation's imagination. Whether you believe in ghosts or not, the Bell Witch remains a haunting reminder of the thin veil between the known and the unknown. Thank you for joining me on this journey into one of America's darkest legends. If you're ever in Tennessee, maybe you'll visit Adams and listen for a whisper in the wind. Just don't be surprised if you hear something unexpected. The end.